Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Deck Diaries with me, Ilya Fajestica, the founder of The Presentation Designer. And I'm going to say this is probably going to be a bi-weekly series now. I think trying to do this every week might be a bit of a push, but in this series I take a deck that I've designed, a mock-up deck of a brand or LinkedIn influencer or organization I would love to work with. And in this week's episode, I'm talking about the Royal Society for the Protection of Birds. But before we begin, I would like to tell you a short story. So when I was a young lad, I was obsessed with bird life. You could ask me, hey Ilya, what's that bird over there? And I'd be able to tell you the difference between a common tern and an Arctic tern just by looking at it. I had a book, something similar to this when I was younger, called The British Book of Birds. This one's a field guide to birds of Britain, but in the book there was all these different pictures of the birds. This one here is a quail. I don't know if you can see it, but I was obsessed with all the different illustrations, and when I was younger, my mum took me to a workshop run by the RSPB with Bill Oddie, and Bill Oddie's a kind of BBC, I think it's BBC presenter, I'm going to say just wildlife presenter and educator, and he came along and he did a talk about bird life and his work with the RSPB at the time, and I signed up for my membership. I became a young member of the RSPB back then, and I used to just love going out, looking at all the birds and studying them, learning about them, and I was really obsessed with bird life for such a long time, and it stuck with me all these years. When I go on my nature walks now, I'm always looking out to see what birds I can see. I'm very lucky here in North Yorkshire to see many different types of bird life. The red kite in particular is a great conservation success story here in Yorkshire. We now have many red kites flying around, and they're just such a magnificent bird of prey. So I decided that I would like to do a mock-up presentation for the RSPB. They actually updated their branding a while back. I'm pleased to say that I am now, after the pandemic, I rejoined and signed up for my membership, so I'm now a proud member again of the RSPB, which I'm really happy about. So if you don't know who the Royal Society for the Protection of Birds are, they manage a nature reserve covering 150,000 hectares around the UK, but they're also responsible for conservation and public education and advocacy. They try and encourage the government to make nature positive policy decisions as well, which you'll see if you follow the RSPB. They talk a lot about doing these kind of things around encouraging nature restoration and bird life protection. So it's a very important organisation, and their mission is simple: to create a world richer in nature, which is what I'm really passionate about too. Because at the moment, if you didn't know, the UK is one of the most nature depleted countries in Europe. We have a problem. We've lost a large percentage of our bird life since the 1970s. Farmland birds here have halved on average since 1970, and right now in the UK, 50% of UK wildlife species are declining and 50% are at threat of extinction. This is from the 2019 State of Nature report. So some of these things I'm really passionate about talking about, and I wanted to design a presentation which incorporates their new branding style, which is these funky, bright, bold colours, which I really like. I think this is a picture of a heron here, and we've got a nice picture of a blue tit, I think. I could be wrong. My bird knowledge isn't as strong as it used to be when I was a young lad. But I wanted to design a little presentation that kind of highlights what they do, and to bring some of the stats around the crisis around nature loss, and what's going on, reasons why. So in 2020 alone, the UK treated 56 million football pitches worth of land with pesticides. Pesticides can be a really big problem. Not only do they affect the actual insect life that farmland birds feed off, but also they affect the wider ecosystem and food chain. So it's a big problem for wildlife in general. So there's work to be done to understanding what this is causing and problems around that. I have also put some quotes in here for some of the people who work at the RSPB. So there's from the Director of Conservation, Katie. I think Katie still works there. And Becky Spate, who, if you don't follow on LinkedIn, I highly recommend following Becky. She talks about nature conservation and the work that's been done through the RSPB. She's the Chief Executive there, so it's wonderful to see the work they're doing. And also, if you haven't already followed them on LinkedIn, their company page or their organization page is fantastic. Just like my Pause for Presents on Monday, they also do their own version of a pause on Wednesday, which is like a little video of bird life, and I really look forward to those every week. And I give great credit to their social team, because they have some fantastic and humorous little captions and videos on there from the different birds that they share. So yeah, I recommend following them and checking out what they do. If you aren't already a member of the RSPB, I can recommend you joining. You can get access through your membership to different nature reserve sites. If you're into bird watching, these are brilliant sites to go to obviously to look at what's there. And obviously different nature reserves have potentially different species that might be there. So have a look at the work that they do. Overall for this design, I wanted to keep it clean, bright and friendly, and to create some interesting infographics using some of the information and stats that I found around the state of nature report and also what's going on in the UK right now. And if this was a template, I'd probably have some different intro slide styles that they could use, and different layouts and designs such as this for presenting like more detailed information, because again, a lot of the work around conservation is quite detailed, so there needs to be space to add text into the presentation. And so overall I really like this design. I've used a similar colors and fonts to their website. So this is their website here, as you can see. The only thing I don't have access to is their imagery, which I would like to use more in the presentation. You can see some of the colors that I've incorporated into the overall design as well. So yeah, this is just a little design. I'll show you the deck in full so you can see how it looks in terms of consistency with colors. Again, using this dark teal as like the kind of the holding color, if you will. And usually when I create a deck, I interchange sort of a visual hero image with a kind of color background to kind of break up the visual flow. And again, starting the presentation with a why here, like nature is in crisis, together we can save it. That is like a kind of strong call to action for their mission statement, and getting people to think about how they can get involved to, if you're passionate about saving nature, how do you go about doing it? So I would like to create more presentations like this. As I said, one of my goals this year is to work with companies and individuals who are working to support nature and to prevent further decline in terms of nature overall in the country. So if you know any companies out there who are doing great work, let me know in the comments. I'd love to check out what they're doing. But I hope you enjoyed this one for now. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you found this video of value. And if you want to create stunning looking presentations to create more impact, you can check out some of my templates, toolkits and guides, which are available on iliapresents.gumroad.com. I have some free ones available, as well as some PDFs and templates that you can use to make your presentations look stunning. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you again next time.